Self-destruction is a good thing, and that's a hill I will die on. So hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. Let me get my gum out before we get into the drama. I know you've been wanting to make your own new life and all of that good stuff, but you're way too focused on trying to create all of these perfect, healthy habits and not speak ill of anything and doing all of these mantras and affirmations to get your dream life and all that stuff. That's not gonna work. Getting a positive attitude for sure will help your life in many, many ways. But sometimes there's not freaking space for that positive attitude. Sometimes you need to self-destruct in order for you to build something up. Sometimes you need to get to the center and peel the layers of the lemon to see the sour insides for what they are. Sour, bitter, not lemonade, sour. And that's why a hill I will die on is freaking that self-destruction is a good thing. We never actually get to see our true selves till we get to see the dark self for ourselves. Shout out Darth Vader. We've never really seen ourselves until we've seen the version of ourselves that's actually on the rock bottom, who gets to scream at the top of their lungs, who gets to dye, bleach, chop off their hair. And a lot of the times, we see these things as bad. When someone dyes their hair or bleaches their hair or does something different, starts wearing different makeup, starts wearing different clothes, starts not wearing colorful clothes anymore, starts dressing in emo or goth clothes or whatever, we'll say, wow, you're self-destructive. Wow, what happened to you? Are you okay? Wow, you're so different. In today's day and age, we won't let ourselves go through the freaking phase of self-rediscovery. We are so freaking caught up in thinking we need to be a perfect human being in order for things to work out. Like the whole, I need to make sure I say all of these mantras and everything is good and I don't do anything bad. And I need to be a good person. Being a good person doesn't mean you are a perfect person. It doesn't mean you're a person who doesn't do anything that doesn't make sense. Because what makes sense to you is not going to be the same as what makes sense to others. In my freaking head, girl, there's no such thing as switching up too many times. There's no such thing as a fixed personality. There's no such thing as a specific road you need to go down or this is who you needed to be. I embrace every single version of myself. I've done so many weird things. I've done so many good things. I've done so many strange things. I've done a lot of things in my life. But are those things all a part of me? Yes and no. They're part of the essence of becoming who I am. But I'm not unhappy that I bleached my hair. Of course, sometimes it's like, oh, I kind of wish I still had my unbleached, healthy hair. Or it's like, oh, I wish I had that hair or this hair or that hair. There's no freaking reason to not embrace wanting to change something. The act of being a human is letting go and letting be and transforming and creating and stepping into and stepping out of and just having the trust that things are going to work out even if you take a step forward, a step back, a step to the side. Do the cha-cha, all of that. It's not being fixed. It's not having to get people to tell you who you need to be in order for you to be good. No, you do whatever it is you want and then things work out. And that sometimes means letting the rage fill you until you realize that the rage is not the road to go. Because sometimes you need to feel the rage to see the rage for what it is, which is not positivity for sure. That's why I always say shout out Darth Vader, because Darth Vader really did realize, like, damn, following all of the thoughts about negativity of what's gonna happen to my wife, aka I'm a Star Wars fan if you couldn't tell. I have little Star Wars figurines up there. I even actually have a almost mint condition Amidala Padme figurine in my closet. I'll pull it out. Okay, maybe not today. I did really bad self-tan. Sometimes straying off the path and letting those emotions be felt but not reacting to, like, just feeling them. Feel them, but understand that they're not here to determine your future. The lemon inside of you just needs to be peeled and squeezed and push a little bit of sugar on top of it and then it's lemonade. Don't let it define your future like Darth Vader. But Darth Vader actually couldn't have become Anakin again as the Force ghost if he didn't see that freaking dark side of himself. Hashtag philosophy. Another reason why self-destruction is the key to everything is because when you self-destruct, aka destroy the old version of yourself that everybody and their mom was used to, suddenly people are going to react to you differently. And that's why people call it self-destruction, not self-recreation because they don't like the fact that you're no longer the version of you that they could get energy from. You're no longer the version of yourself that they could figure out. That's why a lot of the ADHD girlies, that's why a lot of the neurodivergent girlies, that's why a lot of the successful girlies in general are called self-destructive or too much or wow, difficult. Difficult is a word every single neurodivergent, successful, talented, gifted woman has heard. Difficult. And even if you're like plant-based, I've been plant-based for 11 years. Difficult. Because it means that people have no idea how to twist and turn you to get you to do what they want you to do. If you don't respond the way that you used to, and now you're showing up in a different way, and you're willing to switch that up again and again and again, you are difficult because you're difficult to figure out. You're not a difficult person. You're actually easygoing because you know what easygoing means? It means you're having an easier time transitioning into the version of yourself that you're supposed to be. And sometimes that means you're self-destructive. You're like, crash and burn. We're burning everything down and we're moving on. Sometimes that's the healthiest thing to do, but a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to burn bridges. They want to make sure that they have a bridge they can cross back over into and lay in a puddle in like fetal position, so that they like can have someone to talk to about everything that they went through and all of the stuff that defines them, their past and stuff. Crashing and burning and being self-destructive and saying, okay, we're doing this, we're saying goodbye, we're tearing it up and we're pulling it down and we're shaking it to the ground, whatever. Sometimes that's exactly what you need to do to get to a higher you, because there's no turning back, there's no going back, there's no return to who you used to be. And sometimes that's exactly what you needed, because it means you're willing to put everything up for grabs and you're willing to grab yourself. That is why freaking self-destruction is actually the key to self-discovery. Because when you get to the bottom of it, when you really see yourself in the reflection of you having been raged, having been triggered like crazy, sometimes you need to get to the point where you destroy something you really loved. You actually have to see and look at your face in the mirror, say, wow, is that really me? In order for you to pick yourself up and say, we're doing something different. A lot of the times, the greatest lessons we've ever learned, we wouldn't have learned it if we didn't go through something like slightly self-destructive beforehand. And I'm not saying that means that we all have to go through self-destructive and bad stuff in order for us to find ourselves. No. But sometimes we forget that the road to becoming who we are is also embracing our dark side. Again, shout out Darth Vader. The road of embracing our dark side has everything to do with us seeing ourselves for all of our flaws and embracing ourselves for those flaws and saying, you know what, you did good and you did what you thought was right. That freaking out, that letting go of the energy, letting go of the feelings you needed to let go of, just letting it be, being, feeling as a human. Sometimes that's what we need to do. Simple as that. Simple as that. And that's why the whole, well, that's self-destructive. That's bad. Wow. You really changed up. You really switched up.